Folks, we are live from New York. It's Gamers Health. Yay! I want to do a Muppet Show deal right now, actually. Dun, 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 dun. This is what we call the Muppet Show. Yay! So what am I shaking? Well, shaking, not stirred. This is Buffalo Trace. Now we do have Angel Envy downstairs.
We just forgot to bring it up.
Sorry, this was close. So
Well, maybe that'll be at a later date. We will share our Angel
Envy.
with you. But this. Oh, that smells lovely. This momentous.
occasion. Now,
Yeah,
this glass
we'll be celebrated with Buffalo Trace.
Both of our glasses that we're going to be using are Especial glasses. This glass is a bar glass that actually came from a bar, which was a speakeasy for a while.
Oh,
during
really? This was
Prohibition.
from your family's real history. So they had a speakeasy at the corner of the road where we live. The street where we live.
block and a half from where we're at. When I was a kid, it was a drugstore.
I didn't know it was from there.
Yeah, so this is a glass that has family history on my mother's side.
And it is heavy. It could be a weapon. You could hurt somebody with that.
This is what I want to grab if I was in a bar fight.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna get your eyes wet, Rach.
Okay.
How's that? Does that look good?
That looks lovely.
Actually, it's a nice color on the screen.
Look
at that. So, and Rach was nice enough to pull out for me
from the archives.
From the archives, this is the SBA NYPD Sergeant's Benevolent Association.
I think there are either two or four of those, but I think
there's only two.
He only uses one at a time.
I can drink with two hands, but then I can't pour nothing. How's that like? So I'm going to wet. I got the weak. Hold on, I got to switch it around. I got a weak grip.
Can I?
Let me see. I can do. I can do. I have a weak grip on my non-shooting.
Yeah, I think that's how you poured mine.
Yeah.
From your left.
Yeah, my non-shooting hand has a weak grip and has had for about a decade. There's no real way to fix it. Poured ligaments in here, so it kind of has a lot of fleshy gap. It doesn't have much strength.
I guess the muscle pulled away from the bone.
All right, so hold on. Let me catch up to the chat here. Yeah, I know. Only half a. Listen, we're only drinking. We're only having a toast. We're not getting drunk.
He's had that. This is my first time trying it.
I've had some of this in the past. It's very good. And the Angel Envy, we've had that at North Texas last year.
Yeah.
Exceptionally good. Tammy, thank you for the early happy birthday. Apparently, the humidity in the air is getting my hair all crazy. And I took a shower today. Look at this. Look at this craziness. I might need to get another haircut. Don't say nothing. I got charged for a long haircut last time I went. Let's do a toast to real men. Eric, Don, and Tom. To the...
to justice. And may it be served.
Over ice.
We'll enjoy seeing it done.
Oh, that shit is good. I like my Tully. I like my Proper 12. But that's got over ice that has a sweetness to it.
It does.
Oh, this could be this.
Yeah, I'm trying to place that.
Yeah.
It's not like a wine where it's all fruit-free and stuff. It's like, yeah, with notes of, whatever.
All right, so I'm gonna say there's a little vanilla.
Yes.
There's notes of like cherry wood. It's like if wood had a cherry flavor. There's a little hint of that. Not so much cherry itself.
Cherry or more appley?
All right, I'll revise. It's apple on the first taste, but it's cherryish on the aftertaste.
Oh, on the back.
On the back
of your.
Not on the aftertaste. That sounds disgusting.
On the front of your.
on the front of your palate, it has a bit of an apple.
Yeah, we're the whiskey tasting channel now. We know all about it.
Actually,
or the bourbon.
Almost a little cinnamon, like an apple cinnamon taste. Come to think of it,
cinnamon.
Think about it. Let it sit for another on the back of your palate. After you've had that sip, you get a little bit of a cinnamon taste to it.
I don't know. There's a warmth, but not. I don't know that it's cinnamon.
Maybe it's chai. Could it be a chai taste, Rach?
I don't think so. I'm not getting.
Oh, we got to do another drink to Tammy, Tina, and Rach.
Tammy, Tina, and Rach.
There we go. Oh God.
The survivors.
The survivors. When you jump a shark, please do not land on the shark. If you do happen to land on the shark, do not bite the shark first. Just saying. Just
surf back by the fin.
Yeah.
Make it look really good.
You're right. We would be nothing without our wives. Honestly. I've said that before. I'll say it again. There are times in your life when you're going to kind of go, do I give a shit? Right? And usually when you go, do I give a shit? Not, I don't give a shit. There's a difference. Do I give a shit? And I had that moment leading up to when I started thinking about retirement, because it was in the future and I was single and free to mingle. And I wasn't mingling because nothing met my high standards. And I was okay with that. I was like, does it matter? I went, I'm not willing to sacrifice me to find just someone. So I was like, yeah, all right, I could retire. I could grow old in my 80s playing Xbox 13 or whatever else it would be at that time.
Too,
yeah. By the way, Rach, how much console gaming have I done in my marriage?
More so when you were working.
In retirement, how much console gaming have I done?
Maybe, perhaps one day.
Yeah. Perhaps one.
Like you got really into the Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, for about one day.
For a day, and then
it was like
it just kind of fell by the wayside,
I'd rather spend time with my wife.
Or maybe that was also around the time maybe that you started to get into like the Nintendo and the boxing, and then getting the Oculus.
The Oculus,
the Oculus mask, and I just call the Oculus.
The
Oculus mask.
The Facebook, the whatever they call that, the MetaMask now, I guess.
Is that what they're calling it?
It's Meta's Oculus or something. Yeah,
oh.
Remember?
And started to play with Zach.
Yeah.
I think those things came along, and that
more social.
Other thing went away.
More social. More social is more better.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're someone who is like in your basement, and I'm not throwing stones. I mean, when I was like 20, I was in my basement with my Commodore 64. It was the only space I had.
Oh, without anybody nagging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're in your 50s and you're in the unfurnished basement of your house, hiding from your family so you can get away, then you're probably are the one that, like, I don't know, submits unvetted, unredacted documents to a court that doxes people. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm not pointing fingers. But if I am pointing a finger and you think it's a reflection of you, it might just be a reflection of you. Just throwing that out there. I happen, Rach, you haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to watch Tim Cass.
No, I didn't get to see that yet. We're a little busy today.
Yeah. So now, just to put things into perspective, Tim Cass is that grumpy old fuck who will not yell, "Get off my lawn." You'll expect it. You'll expect him to go, and he'll be like, "Hey, kid, you want to play D&D? Get over here. Sit on that chair. There'll be a TPK, and you'll be part of it." You know, he's not gonna. He's Tim Cass. But if you get on Tim Cass' bad side, and I did experience that when he was on chemo and he thought I was somebody else. And Don, you can ask Wampler about this story. Um, I was on the receiving end of a Tim Cass blast. And let me tell you, I've been chewed out by chiefs. I've been chewed out by little old ladies. And
Oh God.
nothing comes close to Tim Cass telling you where you can shove it. So I would not want to be on that man's bad side for legit.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you were on his bad side for legit, the reason why there are numbers on the bottom of this screen is there are probably a number of people in the community at large who this week was not a good week for.
Right. It was probably a very rough week for them, and some people even probably burnt like multiple bridges.
Oh, this was worse
You
than
know, like
this.
they got themselves out of the trap, but they burnt themselves out.
This was.
I don't even know if they got out of the trap.
These bridges, you know, it's like I burned the bridge, dude. You're supposed to retreat and then burn the bridge. You don't burn the bridge before you retreated. Oh shit! So when you leave yourself, you know, burn those bridges after you've accomplished.
Well, it was
your
also
goal.
like maybe he was on the Triborough, so he burnt the way to the Bronx and he burnt the way to Manhattan.
For those that don't know, this is a very local metaphor that Rach is using.
Sorry.
Okay. My God. So the Triborough Bridge.
Well, they call it RFK Bridge now.
Yes, but the Triborough Bridge has one end that's in Queens, one end that's in Manhattan, and one end that's in the Bronx. But it's weird because the end that goes in from Queens does this loop up before going into Manhattan and the Bronx. And it's kind of like, well, why didn't they just make the loop up on top? Well, because the intention was that this bridge was going to come in around 80th Street. And those on the Upper East Side protested or called their local councilman and said, we can't have that. We can't have that traffic. So they moved the bridge by turning it literally up to Harlem.
Not butterscotch.
Not butterscotch. It could it be?
Oh.
Oh.
They're not putting nutmeg in there.
No.
Warming.
No, there could be a little caramel there.
Yeah, maybe that. Okay.
It could be like a
I do confuse the two.
It could be like a Werther's.
Mm. Yeah, I do confuse caramel and butterscotch.
So,
Sorry.
I'm catching up here. Tom Voldemort tried to jump the shark, and the shark landed on him, and that remora that has been sucking off Voldemort. Oh. Tim was one that one would call concise, and he's one hell of a nice guy to work with. Tim Pool is an opinionated jerk. We're not talking about Tim Pool.
Who is this?
Magnificent Dad. We're talking about Tim Cask, who is certainly opinionated, not so much of a jerk. Tim Pool, the problem with Tim Pool is that Tim, and this is going to be my quick impression of Tim Pool.
No.
So,
Don't do that.
What? No, real quick. So, this incident happened and it was really bad. It was really, well, maybe it wasn't so, I mean, some people saw it as bad, but some people didn't see it as bad.
But maybe not.
But maybe not as bad. So maybe you could say it's bad, but maybe it isn't so bad. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm just going to tell you it was bad-ish. Tim Pool cannot put his fucking foot or his dick in any place where he can take a stand. And that's just me with a few sips. I cannot drink during these shows, Rach, or I'm high on life. I think I'm high on life. I didn't drink enough to be, no. This was a bridge being burned, tore down, plowed over, and then nuked. To make another political joke, this was like a Clinton suicide. 2 shots to the back.
Shit.
2 shots to the back of the head. Suicide. Somehow somebody's able to do that. Again, and I probably shouldn't be making these jokes. We do have numbers on the bottom of the screen. Listen, it was one of those weeks where
it shouldn't get twisted.
Things that
by people in people's minds.
No.
No.
But this was a week that, from my own personal point of view, for many reasons, not just the reasons that are being touched upon, was an extremely good week. It really, really was. So I cannot complain about my week whatsoever. I would assume that most people who have tuned in for this show are having a good week. If you're tuned in and you can't make a comment, it's likely you didn't have a good week. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah.
All right. So, moving on from that, we always do a little basic health update. So, I wear an Apple Watch, and I've now, I think, completed 10 days straight of closing all 3 circles. Stands, which for me, stands are ridiculously. I could stand and make breakfast and cook breakfast for 15 minutes. I'm not standing. But this is the same fucking watch that tells me I got an hour and 10 minutes sleep while driving in traffic from here to Long Island. We're laughing because that's what happened yesterday.
Well,
I got restful sleep.
It's not the most accurate thing.
So close my exercise, close my move. Now my move, the only times I haven't closed my move in the last, 2.5, 3 years with an Apple Watch was last spring when I went in for a procedure to have a stent put in, and I wasn't wearing my watch for most of the day. So, and then we had one day where my watch just would not work or reboot, and it was down for like 20 hours before it decided to start working again.
Oh.
So
I'd go crazy. I'd be like, what the fuck?
I want my credit!
Fucking me.
Yeah, fucking oh yeah. I need to be able to go in there and change those records to prove that I was exercising.
How do I enter my shit manually? And then you can.
No, you can't. Don, I bought my wife an Apple Watch for her birthday. She loves the thing. Tons of things you can do on it. Yes. And we've discussed this in the past. A lot of times when it comes to exercising or doing anything that you don't generally enjoy.
It can be very enjoyable. Like, once you achieve your motivation, and sometimes it's just that you have to bring your body and then the mind will follow. But sometimes like that whole thing of getting the body there has its barriers. Like, because I have Hashimoto's, I can be very prone to fatigue, and so sometimes I'm just, oh, fuck it. Oh, I don't need to close it today. I'll do it tomorrow.
I have
and so
fat fuck disease, and I have the desire to not do such exercises.
Oh, okay. I have the double whammy. I have that too.
Just saying, I'm not a type 2 diabetic because
it's hard because you always want to stay challenged, but sometimes staying challenged can it can kick up self-doubt too. Like, am I ever going to be able to do this or that? And yeah, just it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen now.
Right.
It took all these years for me to lose certain aspects of mobility. So it's going to take time to get them back working properly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, so I've tried to keep myself motivated. Yeah. Now, am I saying I'm doing 30 minutes of exercise in the course of a day? No, I do a lot of...
Yes, you do?
No, not one shot. I'm not doing 30. Sometimes I do.
Sometimes, yeah.
A lot of times I
think more often than not you do
yours in one shot. I do mine in spurts throughout the day. But I've been finding,
which is good because we need to learn to take movement breaks.
Yes.
From like watching YouTube or being at the computer.
The YouTube.
Yeah, man. So, I'm thinking about adding in more movement breaks, throughout the day. That's great.
Well, what I've been doing, like when I get on to what do you call it, Rach? The thing with the steps on it, and it's not a bike.
The steps?
The treadmill.
The treadmill, yes.
The thing with the steps on it. Sorry, I'm turning 56 tomorrow. I've
I
got
we
it.
don't have a stair climber.
I need to get ready for turning 56. I need to be able to start forgetting things. All right? Very handy. So it's like, that thing that meows like a cat. The cat? Exactly. Yes, the cat. The thing that meows. So, in any case, my guilty pleasure now is I'm watching the Green Lantern animated series. Because I am a huge Green Lantern fan going back to elementary school. So I get to watch this. Rach would, if I put this on with Rach, and she'd humor me, and then I'd look over there, and I'd see the earbuds in,
and my phone,
and her phone. Yeah, I don't need to put her through.
And that's really no problem. Some things you like are into, and other things you just might need a break and look at your own thing.
Yeah, but I saved that. So that's like, I need to know what's happening with Howling, Kilowog, and the Red Lantern that they. So it's like it.
Good.
And the episodes are like, I don't know, 22 minutes.
Whatever gets you there.
So
yeah, I enjoy. I've been enjoying the programs. They have these programmed workouts on the treadmill that you can do. It's always challenging to try a new one. There's probably 4 that I am using pretty consistently, but I can't use the other ones because they are more running workouts that
we're not built for running.
Not really ready to run. So, I'm happy to do the brisk walk. So I'll do them, and like right now they'll go up to like 3.7. 3.7 means like you're walking 3.7 miles in the hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And like that's like the fastest right now that I can probably tolerate. And it's just a matter of like, oh, sure, I'll be able to work up. But I've been really enjoying those because like, I'll be like all in for like the times that like, because it'll go like to 3.7 and then it'll drop back down to like 1.2, and then like when it drops back down there, like I always have music in when I do the treadmill, so that this way like I can dance on it, and it makes you wanna dance and like move your hips in the way that you walk correctly. And so like it's also helpful. It motivates me to take my arms off the rest, like to take my hands off the rest, so that I can use my muscle, use my body to hold me up, and to get the benefit of walking that comes to the upper body as well, instead of just to the lower body. But I like that a lot.
So what it basically comes down to is if you
go, he'll see me in there.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're going to exercise and make it a regular part of your habit, you need to have something that you can do that is easily accessible. It doesn't take you 10 minutes to assemble, all right, before you can do it.
Yeah.
It's fun to have a watch, whether it's an Apple Watch, a Samsung Watch, a Fitbit, whatever.
Yeah, it's just nice to be able to see the impact, right?
Well, you're able to track it. So I can go and I can look right now and go, I have 445 active calorie burns. Your goal is 400. So I've exceeded it now for at least half a year. I have 23 minutes of exercise in out of the 30 that they expect. So I can do a small workout after this episode.
Oh, mine's going to die.
And close my exercise. And I got 12 stands. But now what I check it for frequently is I want to see what my heart rate is. Because now I've been telling Rach, since I stopped taking the Manjaro, and I'm not blaming the Manjaro for this, but my resting heart rate's gone down 5 to 10 points.
No.
So now it's below 70. Today it's 72. So I find that to be very.
Mine was 54 last night. I said, "Holy shit!"
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
She'll live to be 120. She's like, my heart's working gonna be half as hard working as yours. I'll live 3 times.
Well,
as
I didn't
long."
go through what you had to go through to get
No.
where you are, you know.
And thank God for that. We
Yes.
don't all need to go through.
No.
But it's funny because I'm looking at this my SBA glass. I've been retired now. July 17th would officially make it 7 years. And the new police commissioner was my lieutenant in the late 90s and early aughts. And I was like, holy shit. Eddie made the big time. He was the deputy police commissioner under the prior, who just recently resigned. She was very good, probably the best I've seen in my career thereafter.
That was sad to see her go.
Eddie was always a nice guy. I just don't know if he has the fortitude to be a full-on police commissioner. I don't know if I do. I don't think I could have done that job, even if I was put into it, because, and I could certainly take leadership positions, but, there comes a point where you're like, how deep in do you want to be?
Whoa, yeah.
And that's not, that's a very, I did a political beast at my rank. I don't know if I'd want to do a political beast at that type of rank,
mm-hmm.
where
there's probably less protections and
yeah. It's like, well, you can always resign.
Yes. And where it could even be like so much more exploitive because you don't have the same protections.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here, so that's kind of indirectly lead us into.
I thought I would try that.
The theme of dun, 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 tonight on Dragnet, dealing with deceit. Your radio car partner is actually a rat. Oh, well, now how would you deal with a rat in the NYPD? You deal with a rat in the NYPD, you take their locker, turn it upside down. Oh, heck, take their locker and put it in a different command and let them figure out where their possessions are. Take the locker and put it into the shower upside down. Mm-hmm. These are all lessons that were given to people for fucking with others. And sometimes, there are different levels of deceit. Listen, we all to some level experience self-deceit, right? We all lie to ourselves.
Right, self-delusion.
It's deception. Mm-hmm. It might be delusion, but you're deceiving yourself. It is a form of deceit. All right. Now the problem is that we are wired innately, in my opinion, to believe our own deceit. I am a world-class writer. I am the best publisher of games in the world. I did everything on everything. I believe it. I mean, we can get ourselves to believe shit that didn't happen, right? Trust me, you've seen that. Maybe not in yourself,
like
but others.
Our own importance.
Yes.
Is, how integral we were to something.
So,
and you learn that, I think, a lot of times when you leave certain positions. Oh, what are they gonna do without me? It's really gonna hurt them, whatever.
They take them 2 days to figure it out.
They find somebody, they figure it out, or
or they make up new procedures.
Shit keeps going. That's it.
Nobody is indispensable. I think
that
Shannon
just got really dark. Oh, it's Shannon.
And Shannon's messing with us. My ghost of my niece pretends to be a ghost. Alex, thank you. Thank you, young lady, for turning that light back on. Hi, Shannon. Everybody wave at Shannon. troublesome girl, troublesome, I tell you, troublesome. But when it comes to deceit, like I remember being in, because deceit's part of it is lying, and you lie usually because you want to make yourself look more important, right? I remember I was in seventh grade. I wanted to be important, so I made up a small white lie that I had Conan issue number one. I had no issues of Conan. I owned a near mint copy, and everybody wanted to see it when they came over to my house. I can't.
Oh yeah.
It's locked there. It's in that safety deposit box my parents have. It's
My
so
friend
bad.
lied about Jordache jeans. She said she had Jordache jeans, and we said, "How come you're not wearing it to school?" I'd be like, wearing it to school. I'd be making sure everybody saw my Jordache or my Vidal Sassoon. This is like the early '80s, you know.
Of course.
Yeah.
I got my short ass right here.
My Sergio Valentes with the pockets.
I prefer Sergio Aragonés myself.
Oh, really?
Mad Magazine cartoonist, creative.
Oh, okay.
He did the margins in Mad Magazine. That was Sergio. That's the Sergio I prefer. But I don't
think any of that's anything anymore.
You know, so we do things like that at different stages in our life because we're trying to show our importance. We're trying to show, oh, well, I got stuff as good as you because, you know,
because our self-importance often is derived from stuff.
Yes.
You know, like
or stuff
like Lululemon.
But it's not just physical stuff, right? Our self-importance is also like, well, am I standing in the community? Or
that's true too. Yeah.
You know, so I need to. I am the great game designer. I am the great maker of.
I'm the
podcasts.
mastermind behind so many games that's not even funny.
So,
like, I told people about like so many different ideas. I said a few sentences to everybody. So you know,
I get all the credit.
Yeah,
absolutely. I go around conventions just looking
my
for
ideas.
Hey, elf in a tree, elf in a tree, dwarf in a hole, dwarf in a hole. What the fuck? If you ever write anything with a dwarf in a hole, it's mine, motherfucker. So, but we do this. When I say we, the community as a whole, do this because, or at least those that do this are usually the ones that lack self-worth. They're the ones that are so desperate to be accepted because they don't believe in themselves.
Okay,
so a lot of self-doubt.
We're going to
different levels,
a deeper level here. Yeah. Where, like, you know,
we're trying to get motivations for this stuff, and I think
right, like what leaves a person vulnerable to being in a toxic work relationship or a romantic relationship or whatever have you, friendship, you know, relationship with people or communal relationship, whatever it is. But you know, that being one of the vulnerabilities that somehow along the way you never learned to feel that you were enough.
Yeah.
As you.
And listen, just like abusers abuse,
yes,
those that are deceived learn to deceive. It happened to me. It's happening to me. So fuck them. I will use them because I was deceived. So then other people, I don't care if there's other. I'll make victim of others, and then that makes up for me.
And that'll get it off of me.
You know, that is part of. I don't want to call it insanity because that's really a misnomer.
Well, it's part of the perpetuation of the behavior and thought process that
there's a mental illness attached to it. There's a mental illness attached to it. Now, some people are very manipulative in their deceptions, and they do this so freely, so generously. And I use generous not in the term that you
mean pervasively.
Pervasively. All right, Rach. Just stick the knife in my back while we're at it.
We'll take that generous out because there's nothing generous about it.
I'm sharing.
It just happens so pervasively there. It's like their number one mode of behavior, or
Yes.
it's their modus operandi.
Well, because they don't know of any other way to do it. Just like people that are, and again, it's a general statement. There are exceptions that will prove the rule or disprove it, however you want to say it. But people that are deceptive, all right, or tend to be manipulative, tend to be those that go for false honor, right? Oh,
Uh-huh.
I am a vet of many wars, and I've got like 17.
A vet of all the wars.
So
I was here for
this is something that's part and parcel, and this is the same thing as opposed to doing the work. Give me credit for the work. These are the assholes when you were in high school and college, and your professor or teacher said, "Hey, excuse me, the next project's going to be a group project, so everybody, you need 4 people, and you're going to work on this as a group." And you always go, "Oh shit! If I don't get the right 3 people with me, I'm fucked." And usually you get.
I was often like, "Tell me what to do. I'll do whatever you want." You know, I don't know how to start. I don't know what to do.
Well, usually you get.
But I'll work my ass off.
Right.
If
you're lucky, you get an honest to God team leader.
Yes.
All right. And you get at least 1 or 2 people that are capable of adding to the project. But you get what's guaranteed. Which tells you how many.
2.5 like coattail dragger.
Not even coattail dragger. Just like, yeah, all right. So, yeah, Mr. Professor, I did everything. You did nothing. I put the stickers on the front of what we did, and look,
they're all straight.
And I drew the picture of the AR-15. It, dude, it had nothing to do with like automatic weapons or weapons of war or anything. Yeah, but it's the only thing I can draw because it's the only thing I really like. So I drew it and I put it in there, and that was me. So I contributed. So if everybody get the same grade, right? Because you just said this is a great project. We all get the same grade, right? So you get the grifter who did jack and shit and should be lucky to get a D, who's walking away with a B+ or an A- because they got on the right team.
Yeah.
And they are going to be like that throughout their life because that is what they've learned to do. They deceive. They can be a chameleon. They can be a doppelganger. They can play different roles. But one thing they are very good at, all right? Those scenes of the old vampire movies where you always see the vampire going, like he's smelling for his prey, right? He's looking. These deceivers, all right? These that thrive on deceiving people, they can smell out weakness. They can smell out, hey, this guy over here, he wants fame and fortune. I'll promise him fame and fortune, but hey, I'm not going to get it. But I'll keep that carrot in front of him. But I'll promise it to him, and he'll work for me. And guess who's going to get the fame and fortune? I will. Mm-hmm. But it's like, oh, what's this guy's motivation? Oh, well, he just wants to be accepted. Oh, I can work with that. He'll be accepted by me and my compadres. But the rest of the world, fuck them. But then again, he's working for me. You know what? How cheap can I make him work for me? This is what deceivers do. They find the weakness, and when I say weakness, it isn't they
find a vulnerability. And they go right toward it to use it to garner support, friendship, or sort of some type of feeling of being that the person would feel like they were indebted to them. And that's what an abuser does.
Right. And sometimes listen, somebody was mentioning throw mama from the train where the night was sultry. All right. Think of it's a Stephen King movie. I'm going to tell you right now, I am having a senior moment.
Misery.
But, is it Misery? I think you're right. Yes.
With the big lady.
The big lady. You know where my mind is going already, right?
Yes.
She makes this individual need her. And to do so will keep his legs broken for fucking ever if necessary. So you need them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what they do. Whether it's
Right, they isolate the victim, like so that they can't reach out to the people that could help them. They're sort of turned against them.
Yeah.
Like it's also like in like domestic violence relationships. It's like, oh no, your family, la la la, they do this, and oh, I don't think they mean the best for you,
right.
and sort of like really bang at the person's perception of their family to the point that it's like, okay, now we don't see the family as much as we used to.
It
Yeah,
takes
so the person,
gaslighting to a
yes,
new level.
yes.
And here's the scariest part of this. All right, in my opinion. All right, so you take Vampire Nosferatu. All right, this is the original, right? The original Nosferatu, and then he spawns Nosferatu. Frutu. It's a bit more like, I don't know, like Fruit Loops. I don't know. But this second generation vampire is going to do the same shit. Maybe not as well. And not even for their own benefit. Because everything that this offspring does, this damaged individual does, in manipulating others, serves the upper purpose.
Yeah, that upper person, that person that has whatever.
This is where
power over them.
This is where cults come from.
Yeah,
we've all seen that. I did a little research. It wasn't like my sex crimes and
you
child
have
abuse.
Something with the department?
Yeah, but on cults. But it was like a 2-hour course and
I had a whole
training.
semester with like
the
sociology of extraordinary groups, and it was interesting because like we studied everything from like yoga cults to like it wasn't totally all cults, like, because some of them were like like mainstream religions, like just like subsets of like
right.
main religions, like Hasidim, the Hutterian Brethren of like around northern Connecticut. They were religious, but they were very cut off from the community at large. And then like definitely we looked at all those cults that.
Well, I'm sure the Black Israelites would fall
wanted to poison people, and
but I mean, here's the thing, is that when you are this skilled a manipulator, and this is how your life works, then you don't find other solutions that don't involve manipulation, right?
Right.
Because that's how your mind is now wired. So it's like,
right. That's the default setting now.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you can go to this individual and say, "Hey, listen, you got to walk the straight and narrow." Yeah, no problem. And they're already looking for the next victim.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen this. And
they kind of know that they're doing it too.
Oh, they know.
They absolutely
they know,
have consciousness of it. They have intention. They do this intentionally. Yeah.
So, the higher up the food chain you go, usually the more cunning they are. As you go down the food chain, because like I said, they spur offspring, because this is often a learned talent. Okay, and I call it a talent because to some extent it is, right? If you were designing an RPG character, manipulation, it's like, oh, I'll take manipulation at skill level whatever.
You're making me think of the necromancer, like that they can raise the dead, or like that they have this special power to commune with the dead to
make zombies,
attack certain people or things or whatever.
Well, in a way, they're looking for
looking for the dead.
They're looking for the people that have dead parts in their soul, their spirit, their being that needs to be fulfilled. And they always promise. They're like fucking Satan. All right, I'll say that flat out.
It's evil incarnate. What they
Well,
do.
it's they promise you your heart's desire, and
Yeah.
all it costs you is your soul. And by the way, you don't get your heart's desire. So you want fame and fortune, they will promise you fame and fortune. You want to be a world famous game designer, you'll be a world famous game designer. As long as they're the one getting all the credit, you can be whatever you want, right? That's
Yeah. Oh, we heard that this week.
yeah.
You
So
can be whatever you want.
yeah, it's self-defined. But however you define yourself makes no difference, because in the end, they know they're pulling the strings, and that's really they're like a puppet master once they've gotten their self into you. And here's the other thing too:
Mm.
if you encounter these deceivers, these manipulators, right? And you're not someone who can be deceived or manipulated for some reason, you see through the bullshit, then you become, the mortal enemy, like almost like on a fictional, like, bad fantasy novel trilogy. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, no, I'm Sauron and you're fucking Frodo, and I gotta, because they can't handle people
Yeah.
that see them for what they are.
Yes.
That's what it comes
That's the
down to.
kryptonite.
That's it freaks them out,
Mm-hmm.
because if you can see them for what they are, then you can let others see them for what they
Yeah.
are.
I saw it just move. Are people okay here?
Yeah, huh? Tammy, I used to teach using a powerful curriculum from my classroom of hurting teen boys and how to detect that someone was trying to con you. I also
Mm.
knew for sure that I had conners amongst them too.
Yes.
Again, it is a learned trait. And I'm not saying that everybody who has been abused turns into an abuser.
No, no, no,
By
no.
far, no. But
Yeah, that's
can you often find that people who are abusers were abused?
that's more the common denominator.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that
It doesn't
everybody.
mean that everybody who's abused can't form an intention to not
Right.
perpetuate that abuse.
But there is something about the idea that it was done to me. And listen, deceiving people, deceit is a power trip, right? If you can get people to believe your lies and get benefits from doing no work, doing absolutely nothing,
Mm.
then it's like, hey, that's a power trip. Hey, look what I accomplished. Accomplished using uh, air quotes. And I didn't do have. It didn't have. I hardly did any work. You probably spent more time deceiving people and trying to get your deceit to work than an honest man would have needed to accomplish the same goal.
Mm.
But again, they're wired differently.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, it was such a powerful curriculum and was specific. Like, if they try to isolate you from others,
Mm-hmm.
tells lies and mistruths, etc. And these are all parts of it.
Oh
Listen,
yeah. I mean, I had the parolees, and it'd be like, oh, she's a big lady. Let me buy her breakfast. Let me bring her breakfast. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't accept her breakfast. But can we identify somebody in the waiting area that could really use some breakfast?
uh-huh.
And they'd be pissed. They'd be so they'd pretend to be so rejected, but it was usually because the person was like trying to garner favor, like when they didn't go along with the program. Well, I did this for you and I did that for you.
Right.
And you just could never fall into those kind of traps with people.
Right.
And,
Rach, I know exactly.
And of course I bring it to
Yeah. When I had I would occasionally have the desk in my old precinct.
Okay.
And when you have the desk, you're in charge of the command.
Mhm.
Theoretically, you outrank the CO, because you are everything that happens is your responsibility. And it also meant that when officers are coming in to start their tour, they report to you, at least the ones that aren't working a regular patrol tour. Like a lot of the specialized units, the officers assigned to parking duties or summons duties or details, they report to you. And I had this one female. She comes in. She's 20 minutes late. Because I was looking, I was like, and she's 20 minutes late, and she comes in and she goes, "Oh, Sarge, I got you a coffee."
Uh-huh.
And I said to her,
It just seems like an innocent cup of
eh.
coffee.
And I said to her, I go,
No.
well, first off, I don't drink coffee. Secondly, you're late. Thirdly, I don't take kindly to bribes. I wasn't trying to bribe. She was all offended.
Oh
Like,
no, no!
oh,
I
was
would
cool.
never say
Oh,
that to them. I would just be like, "Well, we really have to do things by the book here and have everything really
I needed to cut it off because she thought that she had a special friendship with me because we would talk occasionally off post, whatever.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh no!" I go, listen, I'm not saying it's a bribe, but if the CO saw you giving me a coffee as you're walking in 20 minutes late, I'm going to get my ass handed to me if I'm not taking a slip from you for the time that you're late.
Mm-hmm.
So do me a favor.
Yeah.
Be on time. I got the desk for the rest of the week. Be on time the rest of the week. This one's on me. Don't bring me any coffee. I don't want it. Next day, she was 5 minutes early. And I guess she asked around. She left the tea on the desk when I wasn't looking, and then walked. So, all right, but yes, people like to believe that they can manipulate their way out of adverse situations. And honestly, the best way to handle an adverse situation, 9 times out of 10, is one of two ways. You fix the adverse situation, you make it right, or you fall on the fucking sword and say, I fucked up. I am sorry. I will not do it again. And believe me, I have seen people say that and mean it.
And this is what I'm doing to not do it again. Like that the amends is real.
Right.
Yeah.
So those, can people listen, if you're a total fucktard who just had like the ultimate fucktard of a week, right? Yes, Don, admit you screwed up. Yeah. And you also admit you messed up, and then you fix it.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you had an ultimate fucktard of a week, you suddenly went ape shit stupid.
But it's funny. It's like
what?
For that person who is like the manipulator, they think that, oh, well,
it's everybody else's fault.
It's everybody else's fault. But then also like, oh, well, if I get caught out on this one, then what else are they going to get me on?
Oh, well, that's part of it. If you are somebody who's this deep into it, and you're this deep into it because everything that you've been doing, and maybe this deceiver above you has put you neck deep into it, and you're a willing accomplice, falling on a sword is beyond your ability.
Right. There are certain things that are just not fixable.
Right. Listen, here, I'm going to put this in perspective for you. Okay. And I'm not saying this individual was a great deceiver, because he wasn't certainly that great at it. Mike Neistel, the Wandering Wizard. Mike Neistel thought he was doing this. He had these great ideas, and everybody was backing his Kickstarters, and they're going great. And only one problem is, like the Dwarven RPG, he had no ideas for it. And the other one he had some ideas for, he couldn't finish it. And he wound up having 3 Kickstarters that were going nowhere. So what does he do? He starts an Indiegogo for Neistel's Castle, because he's spending the money on a convention that went nowhere.
Oh, it never happened?
And a convention for a game that he never finished. And for office space, because if you're going to be a publisher, you need office space, you need a secretary.
Yeah, a lot of people get hooked up on that office space shit.
And here's the issue. He was getting fucking hammered for a while. Mike got to the point where, as the Wandering Wizard, and he got the Wandering Wizard moniker because he started couch surfing on other people's couches in the community.
The Wandering Wizard, because he was a couch surfer.
And doing stand-up comedy.
Shit.
And then finally, what he did was he sold one project to somebody who was going to try to finish it, sold another project that was viable to another publisher, and made a public statement that said, nobody in their right mind should ever trust me with money or a business again.
Wow.
Because I can't do it. That's falling on the fucking sword.
Yes, I have nothing left to try to.
Right. And he walked away
Yeah,
from the gaming community.
Yeah, I can't. I have no cards to play. There's nothing left. My hand is just shit.
And there are people that will do that.
Here we go.
And there are people that will do that and that will slink away.
Yeah.
Or the people that will do it and go, "I'll just keep on bluffing. Look at my cards.
Yeah.
I got a full house, but I can't show you my cards. But you believe me, right, baby?" So I've always given Mike credit for, in the end, saying,
yes,
I'm a horrible businessman. I can't complete projects. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Don't ever, if I come back around.
You have some other extenuating, mitigating thing.
I don't think Mike did. I think Mike, no.
No,
He might, maybe had mental health issues.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's possible. But let's be honest, okay? A lot of people that get manipulated because a manipulator knows what their weakness is. Sometimes it's mental health. Sometimes it is not technically mental health, but it's that need to be accepted, need to be respected, need to be important.
Yeah.
And this person tells me, I'm going to be important. You're going to be part of my team, and you're going to be my, I don't know, chief ass licker. I don't know what position you're going to get, but whatever position you want.
But just make it up on your own.
Yes.
You make your title up. It's all good.
It's all good. And it doesn't even have to affect your pronouns. Just make up your own title.
Yeah.
So, can you make amends in these cases? A lot of times, the only way you can make amends is to literally say, I'm sorry, I fucked up, and walk away. You gotta walk, because there are some times you can't make it. There's some amends that you cannot fix. You can apologize, and then if you don't want to get,
some things are beyond repair.
Some things are beyond repair.
And just like in the rooms, like in AA, they say you make amends only when the act of trying to make amends doesn't hurt you or the other person. So sometimes people will come and they want to make amends and they feel like, oh, I have to make this amends to get back into the good graces of this community. And so they're not really making amends.
Right. They're trying to bribe.
Right. It's like a false amends to a huge degree. There was somebody that you were talking to me about a couple months ago. That was trying for that.
Was it Ken Whitman?
Maybe.
Ken Whitman, who emailed me his cell phone number so I should reach out to him. So Mike and I should bring him on to the live stream. So
without a therapist.
so we can wipe clean.
Yes.
He'll tell the real truth. The real truth is you couldn't finish a fucking Kickstarter. And
we all know.
We know the truth, dude.
Right.
I don't need to bring you on.
In that situation, maybe there's been too much damage done that it would do more damage to the community to make an attempt at that amends. I don't know if that's the truth with that situation, but in many situations.
I think public apologies, where you're apologizing, listen, a lot of specific apologies, I know, as a cop, having watched these situations, where you go, it's like, I want to apologize. You see the cop go, listen, you come anywhere near me, still another cop. They'll be picking pieces of you out of your locker. Do you understand? Well, I just want to say, I don't care what you want to say. I don't want to hear it. But that cop will then go to the platoon in general and go, listen, I fucked up and I shouldn't have done this. Because you know what? It's not just the people that you directly fucked with that are going to be pissed at you. It's the community at large. Right. And maybe your public apology can at least get the community at large to go, oh, you know what? You're just a fucking asshole. I can ignore you now. As opposed to, still talking about, oh, this fucking jackass did this. Can you believe that, jackass? You're best off falling on that public sword and saying, listen, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done it. And I know the people I wronged are never going to take my apology. But I'm just telling the community in general, I know I fucked up. I know I wronged people, and I'm sorry. And I'm walking away. I'm gonna leave you all be.
Mm.
You know, uh, Matthew Melman. You should totally bring him into onto the live stream.
Mhm.
Have I named any individual? No. If you
Mm.
think that any of the people that living or dead that we have described uh,
Sound familiar?
sound familiar, you may be a conspiratist. Please turn yourself in to the computer
Oh no.
for proper mind wipe. Uh, yeah, and then he ignored you. Laugh out loud. Yeah, listen, you here. Let me take a different tactic right now. You're the one that's been wronged, right? You're the one that has been manipulated. You're the one that got manipulated, and then you realize that you were manipulated. Because, by the way, they say hell hath no more fury than a woman scorned. Why is a woman scorned so pissed off? Because a woman scorned has been manipulated. Okay?
Well, because women are relational creatures.
But you were manipulated.
Yes,
Somebody came in, saw the
Mhm.
buttons that they could push to get the response they wanted. And the woman scorned is the woman that went, I was fucking used. Well, you know what? It isn't just women that react that way. The thing is,
I think that's human nature
it's human
altogether.
nature. We say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Hell hath no fury like someone that has been deceived and their eyes are opened. Okay? Because a woman scorned isn't pissed off because she was deceived. She's pissed off because she knows she was deceived. She was probably fine until she realized
And
that
she invested so much of herself in
itself.
some bullshit.
And so when you
Yeah.
are deceived,
Nobody got time for that.
now here I'll talk about somebody that deceived me. No big secret in the community. Vince Florio. Now,
Mhm.
but hold on a second. Now, Vince really hurt because I considered Vince a true friend. When a true friend deceives you, it is really powerful and really painful.
Mhm.
I got past that fairly quickly because I openly shared all the bullshit that Vince had to say about me. So, and Vince's response to that, by the way, folks, is that I fat shamed him.
Why?
So if your only defense to being a cock and a waste of life and a horrible friend and a jealous piece of shit is that the person that you wronged fat shamed you, you know what? God bless you. Because you are going to be a lonely individual the rest of your life. You reap what you sow. And that's what you sow.
Yeah, this woman was scorned by that. Well,
So,
the outcome isn't nice.
It's very powerful to own your stuff and apologize. An apology is not just I'm sorry, acknowledge what you did, how you think it made the person feel, and what you will do differently next time. Right, Tammy? Don, Eric, but even in those situations, the person should mean it, but that will never happen with the
That's
exactly. Like, no, I understand that. I'm just because that's why the
that's how it works in normal.
That's why the three of us will listen to it and go, "You're full of shit." Now, I'll say you're full of shit because that's my training. You and Tom are going to say you're full of shit because you know who we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, you don't have to accept the apology. Time tells you if the person really meant it.
Yes.
If it's happened over and over, then you have the right not to accept the apology.
Right, because not only is amends verbal, it's also behavioral.
Is that the guy who gave your address to the other guy who mailed you fake poop? Yes.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes. Also, the individual who said, "Hey, let's get his pension taken away from him."
Yeah. That wonderful, good Catholic.
Yes. The one that gave up information on my family. Yes, the wonderful good Catholic.
Yeah, and I'll say that because when his fingers were diddling my name into his computer, it was on and popping.
Vince, those 3 Hail Marys and those 2 Our Fathers aren't going to quite do it. No. I'm sorry. And actually to be forgiven for your sins, as any priest will tell you, any Catholic will tell you,
You have to be truly sorry. And I'm a newer Catholic.
right, you got to truly repent. You're not sorry for the shit you did. The only thing you're sorry about is you got caught.
Consequence. That was
That's the
your
only.
sorry.
That's the only sorry. And that I'm sorry. Is
Sorry, not
in
sorry.
certain circles would be considered a mental illness. But I am not a doctor. I cannot judge such.
No,
Done. Vince Florio is a fucking piece of trash. Even when he got caught, tried to manipulate it.
Yep.
Don't fat shame me, Vince.
You sound a little woke there, Vince.
Yes, I thought conservatives weren't into that. Next, he's going to tell me that he's fat and beautiful. All right, when he's on the cover of GQ, I will eat my words. What? That's not going to happen.
Well, you never know.
Tom, same as Hovermail.
Yes.
Yes. Matt, I forgot about the pension thing. That is pretty bad. Well, this same individual floated the idea of getting Luke Gygax's pension terminated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, because this is how they think. Just so you know.
Nasty.
Don had to ask, did Vince come to North Texas or was he a fucking coward and hid and he did not come? All right, so
this year, no, he would never go.
So now here, I'm going to give you a quick observation.
Even last year, he knew he was persona non grata.
Well, no, last year he was there. Last year, Mike and I thought that Vince was doing a rehabilitation tour. Get seen with Tenkar, get some of this bad publicity off you.
Oh.
I would be part of the Vince Florio resurrection. All right? Vince asked a lot of fucking weird questions about my personal life, my history, my family, which got me head scratching. I was like, I don't know why he's asking this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when Vince would come to a convention with his wife, you'd see his wife. She would come out with us because Rach would go out.
Yeah, she want to hang out. We'd all catch up. Yeah. She's lovely.
Yeah. Never saw her. Oh, no, she's doing other stuff. So when we went out to eat, and brought Vince along,
she knew he was doing dirty.
So I'm pretty sure his wife knew he was being a two-faced piece of shit.
Yeah, and didn't want any part of it.
Right.
That's not her.
Right. So, Vince, you have a wife that you do not deserve.
Yes.
And I hope you realize that. I'm sure she realizes that. But love is love. God bless Randy. But you get more than you deserve than that one, man, because you struck gold and she got a turd. All right.
God bless her.
Oops, that was another remora sucking off the belly of a shark. Two. I'm gonna be the count right now. Two. Remora. I can count to two. He was asking questions to get to for four. Yes, and. For some reason, they believe that Rachel's not your wife, that she's your sister. So I go, dude, they think I'm fucking my sister? No, but they think, I go, well, they're fucking retarded, man. And thank you for telling me they're retarded, but that's the definition of retarded. All right? And no. So, and by the way, do I go occasionally to the Evil DM channel? Yes, I do. Because man's got to laugh sometime.
I was about to say, just to catch a laugh.
It's like, oh boy. I mean, my live streams don't do the traffic of my usual standalone videos, and Gamers Health has a very specific audience that will catch it during the week.
Very personal.
Very, very personal audience. As it's been told to me, people come here to see Rach and Erik. They don't come here to see Tenkar. Just awesome. Well, Gamers Health does more traffic than his recent videos do. So, Vince, you're losing to a woman. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh. Oh, look at that. In less than 3 hours, I'll be 56. Then I can forget everything I said tonight.
Oh, I never did that. No.
No.
Why would I ever say such things?
I never said that. That was me at 55. At 56, I remember nothing.
Did that thing just blink?
Yeah, it did.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. Maybe there's a bad connection on the camera. I couldn't tell you. Probably.
Oh, it wasn't the whole thing. Oh.
No, it was just that part of the screen.
Oh.
It's inconceivable that a small community tabletop gamers could produce so much crazy shit. That bankruptcy proceeding was something else.
It was.
Matt, have you read the 257 page dump of text messages between two levels of manipulators? Because it is entertaining. Oh, by the way, did anybody else read to the end? Because I didn't read to the end. And then somebody told me they read to the end. And the end...
I got the cliff notes from my husband.
And the end, Hovermill was accused of being Chad Revenge.
Ah,
Like,
I wonder.
I wonder. I wonder who wrote the book. Sorry, I shouldn't be saying that. So look at that. We've gone over our allotted time. We're gonna have to charge you overtime for that. Oh, it's not at least 15 minutes. Oh, I can't put in anything for it. I gotta be at least 15 minutes in overtime.
It sounds like they're having a banging karaoke out there.
Our Filipino karaoke is back in town.
Like, I just hear the microphone.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a small barbecue tomorrow, by the way, with friends to celebrate my birthday.
We had to put a cornhole.
Cornhole?
The
Maybe only one side. I think we
might not have a big enough yard for the two platforms and holes.
Tino's sitting here wondering what precinct I was in. So, all right, here's the quick story. Got out of the academy in '97. I went to the 4-2 precinct. The 4-2 precinct was the Warriors of the Wasteland, because at one point most of the precinct
was all burned out.
Burned down. It was just
in the 70s.
Yeah.
When they say the Bronx is burning, it was that area.
It was the 4-2.
Yeah.
The 4-2. If you watch Fort Apache, the Bronx, the 4-2 is where the outdoor precinct scenes take place. So when you see the cops in front of the precinct, that's the 4-2 precinct building. And I was there for 6 months, and I learned a lot. After that, I got drafted to a new unit that was forming up called the Tracer Unit. The acronym, nothing. Usually always means something. We were the Tracer round, the round that lights up the bad guys, and then we get other specialized units to find them.
Oh, that was
the whole bullshit. So that was the 4-1 precinct Trace Unit. 4-1 precinct was Fort Apache. Not the same building as the original Fort Apache, although I did report that a couple of times. And the indoor scenes from Fort Apache to Bronx, the indoor precinct scenes were filmed in that building. So I was in 4-1 Fort Apache until 2002. 2002, I got promoted to sergeant. I went to the 2-6. 2-6 was the Hole in the Donut. Hole in the Donut because it was Columbia University. So in the middle of Harlem, the Hole in the Donut. Did that for almost 2 years, at which point I got picked up by Internal Affairs and did my last 12 years in Internal Affairs. So, there you go. And Bad Mike, you're late. I know you're late. Welcome, though. So, Matt, why did it end up being the case that I couldn't ask my one question during the proceedings? Here's why. Because I am, in my personal capacity, being sued by an individual in their personal capacity, the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum, and TSR. TSR listed me as a creditor. But the trustee was like, oh, fuck this shit. We're not wasting our time or our money.
So because there was, a court ruling that...
the court ruling had nothing to do with it.
No?
No. The judge was... Our judge had ruled that we were going to proceed.
Yes.
But he was like, there's no reason for TSR to be a part of this. Because if TSR remained a part of it, guess what? TSR would be paying part of the bill.
Mm-hmm.
figure that one out. So he quickly
Oh,
as
gotcha. I don't
removed
think I fully
removed
understood.
me and my mother wife. By the way, this is the real Rachel. This is not Lois, but we've explained that, and again, whatever. So, so that's why I couldn't ask the question. Why? And I already know the answer.
So he was taken out as a creditor. So he's,
Right.
you know,
Well, so were you technically.
well, I was never in there. Just
I
my
know.
my AKA.
You're only Lois, aka Rachel.
My alias.
They called on the street. They call me Rach. But you know, my government name. Well, my government
name is Rachel Stina.
Yeah. So I don't know where you got Lois. It ain't my my street name
never
either.
Been my government name. I've had many other government names, but no, just one other.
Yeah. So Bad Mike. Yeah. By the way, Vince Florio is falling off the face of the earth. His once a month videos get maybe 50 viewers. Nice.
Yeah.
Again, Gamers Health
Serves them already.
will generally have that in 2 to 3 days. I'm just saying, this has a very limited community that watches it because you gotta give a shit about your health and you want to know stuff that's going on. Yeah, Tina's very welcome. Now, we used to consider the tracer unit got moved around a lot. So even though I was assigned to the 4-1, I did a lot of patrol time in the 4-0, the 4-3, the 4-4, the 4-6, details in the 4-8. I had a DOA in the park at the end of my tour in the 4-7.
In the 4-7 by my neighborhood where I live.
Couldn't find the my tour ends at 3:40, and because call comes over like 3:15. Me and my partner, it's metal day for the precinct, so the precinct isn't working.
Oh, they're on the other side of the park in the Gaelic Park.
No, they were in 1 PP.
Oh, I thought Metal Day happened in Gaelic Park.
No, they were in Metal Day at one police plaza because they were getting a precinct citation. So we were backfilling, and I get to the park and look at I don't know a park. It's a big park, and we drive around. We look, don't find anything. So it's like, yeah, Central marked that a 90 X-ray show. What's going on the tour? 4-7 Eddie, yeah. Be advised, the complaint, there's a 12-year-old boy with his mother who's on a cell phone. Aww. They say they're with the body. I went, oh. So we go, and sure enough, the DOA is a heroin addict with the needle still in his eye because he was shooting up into his tear duct. And I mean, it was the perfect DOA for a druggies crime scene. The needle, the bottle cap with the heroin still his cooker. So I was like, shit. So then me and my partner go back, and I think we got out at like, I don't know, 7:30. And then and then my partner had to come back in the next day and report directly to the coroner's office to ID the body. Matt, you've got to have a free Saturday afternoon. Listen, when you're retired, your time isn't free. You think it is.
Everybody has their jobs for you.
Yep. Don, my wife is a country girl, grew up on a farm in BFE, showed cattle as a teen, and taught rural schools. So your life in New York amazes her with your job. And Tina says, Rach, you're amazing to support. Honestly, when I met Rach, when I met my son's mother, she understood cop mentality, but she just always loved cops. She always wanted to be a cop. But Rach understood the mindset. And when you're working,
I had counseled police.
She dealt with our broken toys.
Yeah, people cops and PAAs and stuff that were
police
in trouble on the job because of drinking or prescription.
So we had
drugs.
We had some overlapping peoples, but the thing is, like our first wedding anniversary, I was detailed.
Yes.
Uh, you think I'm in internal affairs, I'm working like banker's hours, and for the most part I was. But when you have a hurricane, I was detailed. And then I started making deals like, all right, so I want to get off for Thanksgiving. So how do I make sure I'm off for day after Thanksgiving? I'll volunteer to work Thanksgiving, which I did, so we can have a 3-day weekend after to get
Yeah.
away.
And that's a lot of what it is. You make things work. You
Yeah,
work around.
So if you are married to like Rach got lucky, she married a cop who was working Monday through Friday weekends
Yes,
off.
yeah, that
And
is not easily
day
found.
tours.
Yeah.
But that didn't last. First off, we had emergencies like the flooding of the city with the hurricane, which certainly
Yes.
changed the schedule for a while. And then my last 9 months, I was assigned to the command
To
center
midnights.
first to evenings and then the midnights. And you know what? 20 years on, you're doing it. Needs of the department is the needs of the department. And I am blessed and lucky.
When you understand, it's like, okay, we
Well, we know I
I've
was
done 9 to
retiring.
5 thing, for a long
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
they're gonna stuff is gonna change.
Yeah.
You know.
So again, I am very lucky and very blessed. I mean, there were times, especially when the hurricane hit, that Rach was obviously worried about my safety. We didn't discuss it, but we didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to. Yes, and that is something that Eric has been a sheepdog. Here's the thing.
Yes.
Here's the thing about sheepdogs: they don't retire. Okay, they don't stop being a sheepdog. The instincts don't stop. Or as my niece put it, Shannon, if you're still watching, I still remember what you said when I retired 7 years ago. You were 5, young lady. You were 5, and you're like, Uncle. I'm like, yeah. So I understand you're going to be retired. I'm like, yes. So that means that you're no longer going to be putting on your costume, and you got to give up your shield, right? Because we call our badges shields in NYPD. I'm like, that's right. She goes, but you're still going to protect the family, right? You're not going to stop protecting them because you're retired. I go, I'll never stop protecting, girl. Okay, good. Then retired sounds pretty good. You still get paid? I'm like, yeah.
And we get to hang out.
Yeah. So, I mean, that just,
Yeah.
but that was very insightful. That the
Yeah.
concern was, do you stop protecting? It's not something you can turn off.
Right. You don't stop being who you are.
No, I mean,
and it transferred into this community too.
Yes. Who made you the cop of the OSR? When I was doing a lot of the Kickstarter coverage. Who made me the cop?
Yeah.
Who made me the cop? Listen, I serve at the community's blessing, and if the community goes fuck you, then
I guess and.
But Rach will tell you that again, like the instincts don't stop. We went into Manhattan 2 weeks ago, and Rach on a train. What did you see me? You remember that? I was sitting relaxed, and all of a sudden,
yeah, the two of us were sitting there relaxed, and then the person comes in like, singing and like being loud, and then of course it's like, we're both like kind of.
But
what do we do?
I was
just looking at each other like,
yeah. But Rach,
does this seem like something might happen?
Rach has already seen me at when we hang out at our local bar, when somebody comes in looking to cause trouble, and my atmosphere. I usually grab something that's solid and usable and have it ready to go. I don't get off my chair. I don't do anything. I don't get loud.
No, because usually it's like, okay, let's just wait for this person to leave here because they haven't made a threatening gesture. They're just
that one
intense,
guy, that one
and
guy,
like psychotic looking. You know what I mean?
The one guy that was calling our bartender gay.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have to throw somebody out.
Yes.
And it was going to be through a window because the door was too small.
Yeah, and I didn't want it to go there. He's like, Rachel, pass me that, and I'm like, my phone.
Nope.
The shit.
Nope. Because you had the right size glass.
So I passed into pint glass over.
So I was drinking
I emptied
wine.
it and I passed it.
It does. If
And it's like, oh God, please
yeah,
no.
if you've done the job, see there are police officers and there are cops. You can retire from being a police officer. You can.
Yeah.
You can't retire from being a cop.
Mhm.
So
Right. There's certain frames of mind that you don't retire from
right,
because, like, those are your spiritual
you're a sheepdog.
components.
Yeah,
Like just like being a helper.
yeah,
Like being a counselor, a social
yeah.
worker. You go. Just
Which is why we do this
being
game.
justice minded
Which
or
is
worrying about
why we
people's health
do
or
Gamers Health.
yeah, or like showing certain things. Helping people understand certain aspects of you know uh, mental health and yeah.
Mental health. Okay. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
okay. I'm getting to South Park withdrawals. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta see if there's anything new on South Park that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's what's fun.
I'm going through withdrawals. I need my cotton.
Isn't there one that we recently sued over that we need to see?
I think we saw that one out. Weren't they being sued over the royal couple?
Yeah, but I thought there was something between then and now.
Oh, that might have been.
Somebody else, I can't quite remember who.
I'll have to check.
Um,
All right, so folks, I think at this point we will wrap this up because we could go on forever. But then my hair's gonna get even more fucking wavy. I took a shower today. I didn't expect it to be this wavy.
it's allowed to be wavy, man.
It's allowed to be wavy.
Got a lot of texture.
Your hair's always got texture.
Yeah.
You got the good hair.
Oh, thank you, darling.
I got my first gray hair when I was like 17. And now look at it. It's a nice shade of grum. Grum.
Ground.
I got dirty ground hair. There we go. Don, thank you. Have a good Saturday evening. I'm gonna retire to a glass of wine after this. I think a nice Chianti. No, a nice glass of red.
I'll stick with my water because I'm very thirsty.
She's very thirsty. Thank you all on the live stream. You guys were all awesome.
Thank you so much for.
Holy shit. So anybody who watches this later, because there is a troll who doesn't bother really watching. You have to subscribe for at least 24 hours to participate in our chat. I've mentioned this before, and our troll still hasn't figured it out. I'm assuming they won't.
I'm assuming that too. So it requires a little bit of.
I gotta think ahead.
Thinking and planning.
I just wake up.
A little bit of executive functioning in your brain, so that's just not there.
I wake up from my drunken stupor, and it's like I want to go in there and harass people, and they don't give me my First Amendment right. Sorry, I'm channeling my inner jackass. Oh, it's not my inner jackass, my external jackass. And it's not even my jackass, it's somebody else that's a jackass. But hey, the troll is too high in math to know his ass from his elbow.
Yeah, I think so.
Is he like a bridge troll? It's like, hey, he's like if he was a bridge troll, right? He'd be passed out all the time as people are, oh, isn't there a bridge? Don't we got to pay a toll to the troll? Nah, don't worry about it. He's passed out on meth. Really?
It's $1.
It's $1. $1 for every time you pass. $1. Where'd you get $1 from?
I just pulled it out of the air.
I pulled it out of somebody's ass. Literally. She was at a strip club, and I pulled it out of her ass, and I said, that's the way you get paid.
That
$1
very plausible.
a transaction out of somebody's ass. So that
does. It sounds totally plausible.
That is the words of wisdom. According. We'll leave it at that. Yes. Okay. His business plan was from Dollar General. Well, couldn't be from Dollar Tree.
Are they going on the Dollar General?
Dollar Tree's $1.25 now. I'm sorry
But we
about
don't
that.
have them in New York City. We have them outside. But,
What, Dollar Generals? Yeah.
Right.
Dollar Generals spread like cancer, and now we're dying like cancer under the radiation.
I guess it's eating itself or whatever, you know.
Maybe. All right, folks. God bless. We'll catch you later.
Thank you. Take good care.
End the broadcast. Yeah.